9 to 5, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. If this is your life and it's kind of getting mundane and it's getting boring and you don't think you can handle it anymore because your 9 to 5 is just so shitty. I had a 9 to 5 that was shitty not too long ago and I absolutely loathed it. If you're finding yourself in a situation where you hate your 9 to 5, watch this video. I might have some advice for you. I hate my job, feeling trapped. I don't know where to start. Some days I feel like walking out of my job every day. You just made a contradiction. Some days, then every day. Whatever, I'm gonna assume every day. And never coming back. It is stressful. I'm constantly in trouble because people set things up to the point where I start doing some of the things that, quote unquote, they expect me to do. I honestly feel if I walk away from my job, I can be better in my life. Just walk away. It's not worth the stress. It is dead end with a good pay. I sometimes have visions about walking off and never coming back. I have some bills in my own place. I'm in my early 30s. People are always using the whole, "Are you crazy?" angle. Are you crazy? It's so hard to find a good job these days. Don't just leave your job like that. I see people slaving away for companies that treat them like shit. Can anybody relate or have words of motivation? I'm so down about this. I've had it with this 9 to 5 bullshit. One of my favorite topics. Shitty jobs, dead-end jobs, bullshit jobs, right? So honestly, shitty jobs, you got to love them and you gotta hate them, right? But you should love shitty jobs more. It shows a line, fellas. It shows a line and it divides people based on their mentality, right? You said this job is a dead-end job, and you know it's a dead-end job, yet you got people fucking up your head saying, "Are you crazy for leaving?" Leave that job! Leave it! If you know what's best for you, you would leave that job. Let me tell you right now, the world will always be binary. That's how the world always works. The world will always be full of winners and losers, alphas and betas. And in simple terms, there will always be the heads and tails of a coin. There's always the sun or the moon, light or dark. This shit is binary. And to put it in your terms for your question, there will be people who stay at that dead-end job for the rest of their lives. And there will be people who don't. There's no in-between. There is no magic in-between. No. Which one are you? Are you going to stay there for a long-ass time? Or are you going to leave? It's one or the other, right? And that's me giving you some wholehearted good advice. And let me put it in terms of my perspective, right? I talk about it on this channel all the time. 2 years ago, I moved to Japan. Greatest decision of my life. Being able to go to another country and see the other culture. But then again, I was working in Japan on a contract for a company. And let me tell you right now, that company really abused the shit out of its workers. And for a long time, I stayed in Japan for 2 years. For about after a year, I found myself conflicted. I'm like, shit. Like, I love Japan so much, but this working shit is not it. What am I gonna do? There's people in that company that stayed there for 10 plus years. The same company I'm at. And I'm like, shit, I gotta be grateful. In Japan, they work different from America. Like, fuck it. I should put up with it. But I reached the point where I said, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna look for another job. Like, you gotta look for a solution to your problem. I didn't want to leave Japan, so I started looking for another job. Unfortunately, around the time I started looking for a current job and I had a job lined up, the coronavirus pandemic really hit the world like strong. So my job got canceled. They weren't hiring anymore, and I had to be faced with the decision: stay in a job that was causing me stress, even though I love the country, or go back home to America. And for my mental health, I chose going back home to America. We need to normalize people making good decisions for their mental health. A lot of people don't do that. I feel like it's getting aware nowadays, but it needs to become more of the norm. Like, okay, you can have a job, you making $500,000, $500,000 a year at that job. I'm a believer that, yeah, you should have a little bit of stress. It points you in the right direction. But if it's to the point where you feel mentally drained and fucked up and exhausted and you wish you could just do something else with your day-to-day life every single day, you gotta leave that $500,000 a year job and settle for something that's $100,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, like, if you think about it, you're only using that, like, you gotta, like, realize what's more important. And for me, I feel like mental health is more important than anything. So if your mental health is being compromised by especially a bullshit job, leave that job today. No ifs, ands, or buts. But this advice only applies to you if you don't have any responsibilities. Okay? Now, here's the other side of the spectrum. If you have responsibilities such as kids, you gotta provide for your family, or you got a lot of bills, credit card debt, you cannot quit that job. I'm sorry. America doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work like that. Money is due. Things need to be paid for. You can't do that. So if you have a lot of responsibilities, I'm changing my answer. Don't quit. I was able to quit my job because I was 24 with no children, no responsibilities, nothing. I was able to just walk away. But if I had a child in Japan, if I was married, if I had like taken out a loan for a car and shit, I could not leave Japan. I would have to stay in that job until I found out a different thing to do. And here's what I'm gonna say. You gotta find out something else to do. If you have a lot of responsibilities, you just can't quit. Start searching for what kind of job you would like to do in the near future and work from there. Build some steps, okay? So if you have to go to night school for 2 years while working that dead-end job, fuck it. It's what you gotta do. Just take pride in knowing that nothing lasts forever. So that 2 years you gotta go to night school will be up and you will be on to your next better job while the people are still at that dead-end job slaving away. If you gotta stay at that dead-end job until your business takes off, might take 3, 4, 5 years, take pride in knowing that time is not forever. That 5 years will be up whether you like it or not. And you can use that 5 years to build your business to be in a better position than you were 5 years prior. If you got responsibilities, you can't leave. But if you got no responsibilities, fuck that! Fuck that. Leave. A bad job is not worth your mental health. It's not. I'm at the point in life right now, if I can make $50,000 doing something that, and we gotta change the narrative. You don't gotta love a job. 99% of people don't love their job. But if I can take a job that pays me $50K a year and it doesn't stress me out crazy to the point where I'm dreaming and hoping to leave the job, versus me taking $100,000 a year job where it's stressing me out every day, I'm taking a $50,000 a year job. Your mental health, your clarity of mind, how you are is not worth anything in this world. Never prioritize anything above your mental health, because if you prioritize other things above your mental health, you're fucked from there. People are gonna step on your mental health. Bosses will abuse you and look at you as a person who can output a lot of work. They don't give a fuck about how your head is feeling. They care about meeting those sales quotas. You understand what I'm saying? If you always a yes man, you're nice to people, and you always doing shit for people, people are just gonna take advantage of you. They don't give a fuck about your mental health. So never prioritize your mental health over anything. Leave that fucking job if you got no responsibilities. If you got responsibilities, make a plan. Alright,